reached out and asked if you had read the indictment. You said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think of your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain. Glad to have you aboard on a Tuesday and hope that your week is off to a great start. So thank you so much for being here. Coming up in just a little bit, we're excited about our conversation tonight with the international president of Delta Sigma Theta, Cheryl Turner, is along with us to talk about her path to the presidency. She's still getting used to that title, and we'll talk a little bit about that. First, though, let me take this opportunity to say thank you for your support. Thank you for becoming subscribers. Coming up on Monday the 15th, we'll start doing exclusive content for subscribers. So thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button, and thank you very much for supporting us. This is a way to keep independent journalism alive. So we are absolutely grateful for your support. Tonight, Cheryl Turner, a community servant, an outspoken advocate, a dedicated person, has become the international president of Delta Sigma Theta. Her rise to the presidency started at Ole Miss, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I am excited to welcome Cheryl Turner to the broadcast tonight. How are you, Madam President?
I am absolutely amazing. Thank you for having me tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate you taking time to be with us tonight. This is a big deal for Jackson. It's a big deal for Mississippi. It's a big deal for the country. So I absolutely appreciate your taking time to be with us tonight. And President Turner, I want to go back. I want to start way back, as the old people would say. Let's reach way back. Let's talk about when you first decided to become a Delta. Tell me a little bit about what you were thinking and what that experience was for you.
Well, before I do that, let me again thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having that voice of truth in the field of journalism. It's much needed now. And I'm excited to say that I am a subscriber. I'm excited to be a subscriber. So, we need to have that platform where we can trust our news. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, way back in the day. You remember that song? Way back at University of Mississippi. Delta Sigma Theta for me actually began at Farish Street Missionary Baptist Church, where I grew up. And that church for me was that foundation, not only from a spiritual standpoint, but all things activism. My church was the church where they had meetings with Medgar Evers and the other activists that came into the city between, if they were downtown, where they were a haven for the marches, but within all of that were city leaders in that church. And of course, we talk about leadership, you've got to include Deltas in that. And so there were a lot of Deltas in my church that I watched, live out true activism, live out true service. And that one particular Delta that I shout out every chance I get is Mrs. Gwendolyn Loper, who is a long-time social worker in this area, a noted social worker, an award-winning social worker, has buildings named after her in the field of mental health. So Miss Loper was my North Star in so many ways, but particularly that of Delta. So when I went to the University of Mississippi in the fall, in the fall of 74, I saw the Deltas after a while and knew that was the route I wanted to take. That was the vehicle for my service and for my connection. So I always thank Ms. Loper. So that's where my Delta journey began. Lambda Sigma chapter, University of Mississippi.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you for your kind words. And more importantly, thank you for highlighting Thayer Street Baptist Church, a very historical church in the city and in the state. You're absolutely right. Thayer Street has always been at the crossroads of civil rights and at the crossroads of doing what's right. And Thayer Street gave you a reception a couple of weeks ago for this position. So at the core of being a Delta, tell me what that is. What's at the very core of being a Delta?
Well, in Delta, we have a core of identity. And at that core is sisterhood. And that would be, our mission is to uplift and support our members, the constructive development of our members, and service to the Black community. So those things all align at the core. Sisters, that is our oath, our vow to lift each other, support each other, and more than anything, serve our communities.
That's good stuff. At the beginning, I said this was a big deal for Jackson, a big deal for Mississippi. We've had some regional leaders, and you were a regional leader yourself, and we've had some international leaders, of Omega Psi, of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and you are right there. You've held a number of positions within this organization, within your sorority. Did you ever think you would get to the top of the ladder?
To be perfectly honest with you, that was never what I remembered as a dream. Now, I will tell you this. One of my chapter sisters from Lambda Sigma, when I began to run for regional director in 2011, said, I am becoming financial again because you told us when we were in undergrad, you would be the president. And I thought, I don't remember telling y'all in undergrad, but I just always saw, number one, the sisterhood for the true sense of having women that, were walking the same path, going through the same thing, particularly at a predominantly white university. I grew up with all boys. There were all boys in my community. The Currys, Mississippi Mass Choir, they were 2 doors down. So, a lot of boys in that family as well. So between me and Dorcas, Rachel, and Leah, we had, boys, but having sisters was truly a key. So from that point, and working, worker bees in every situation always seem to be noticed for just your commitment to doing the job. I never looked for the spotlight. I just, was raised in a house that if you had a task, you did it and you did it well to the best of your ability. That's what my mom, Lola Weekly, taught me and my brothers, Don, Stan, and Vernon. And so that was just carried over in what I did. So people began to recognize my, just my work ethic, my commitment to Delta. There was a time where I was not financially active with Delta because I got married. And, when you're married and you're trying to be a wife and a mother, sometimes you have to put things on the back burner. But when that phase of my life ended, and it was just me and my little boy, I tell you what, he grew up sitting in the back of rooms of Delta with his coloring book, not knowing what was going on. And when he got to the point where he knew, he had to sit outside the door, but just working. And so people would recognize, hey, why don't you run for this? And it began that pattern of doing those things. And as
that's no secret. I think when people describe you, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is that she's a servant, she's a worker, she's a servant leader. I think those are the descriptions I've heard about you forever and ever and ever. And I think that translated into your son too. I think that's who Jared is as well. He is definitely a servant. He's a servant. He's a servant leader.
He absolutely is.
Listen, I would tell you that I think all of Jackson, every female in Jackson crossed not too long ago. Y'all had a million. Y'all had a million ladies that y'all took in.
123.
I could not believe that. I was like, is there anybody in Jackson or in Mississippi that's not a Delta right now? Is there anybody? That's good. What do you attribute this large intake, or seemingly large to me anyway, of ladies into your sorority?
Well, there are women out there that are true leaders, true activists, true servants that are looking for opportunities and organizations that speak to them. And, we don't only have large lines. I'm going to shout out my sisters in Theta. The Theta chapter had 84 on their line a couple of years before. I had several friends on that, so I'm excited for them. But that's, we are, just need more people to serve. When we do these things, there's more work now with the executive orders that are coming down and the cuts to healthcare, Medicare, and that's affecting people personally. And when that happens and it impacts you directly, you want to join a reputable group that can help you carry out that, because there's indeed power in numbers. So we're excited that there are women and quality women, strong women, leaders in the community that are interested in Delta Sigma Theta and moving us forward.
Absolutely. Listen, let's talk about your life for a minute outside of Delta. You've been committed to the Jackson community for forever. You've had a long work history. How are you able? And I think you're retired. I think I read that you were retired from this. Yeah, I thought that I read that. But you've had a very long, successful career, and I know now that you can really, you were doing it before, but now you can really pour your heart into this work of Delta. But outside of Delta, let's talk about state employees, because you mentioned cuts coming down and executive orders and all of these mandates. What do you say to working women out there and just about balancing and maintaining and staying strong?
Right. It's important for us to have a balance, work-life balance, just for the mental wellness of it all. With so many things impacting our lives daily, we got to learn how to manage in all of this. We have to work, unless you're independently wealthy, and very few of us are independently wealthy. So we have to work. We have families, whether children or not, or husbands or not, we still have families, our parents, our siblings that we want to maintain good relationships with. So all of that goes into then on the outside, church and other organizations and involvement in the community. Those type things are all a part of being a whole person. It's the holistic view of life that, we should enjoy life. And God put us here to, he wants us to be happy. He wants us to flourish. He wants us to achieve. And in all that, we're able to give to others. So just that full capacity of doing all of that, is what we lean on and lean into, so that we can just survive in these trying times.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you got some amazing women in your organization. Kathleen Grigsby, who I also pledged at Old Man's.
He
You
did.
got Deion Jones Woody. You got some
Yes.
amazing women in this group, and I see Katrina Marks on, and I also see
Yes.
Lori Jackson Evans on tonight as well. One of my besties in Memphis. You've got some amazing women that's a part of this organization. Madam President, I wonder if you would talk a little bit about the direction that you want to lead this organization towards.
Mm-hmm. First, shout out to my friends in Jackson and Madison and Clinton, all over the state of Mississippi. The direction of Delta Sigma Theta is to be that voice in the community for the voiceless, to be fearless in our advocacy, to be to show up unapologetically strong in our sense of what we're committed to. We are a nonpartisan organization. We speak to issues. So there are so many issues out there now that need our attention. My theme is One Delta, one mission, anchored in our legacy and in evolving with intent. So that speaks to the fact that we want to be unified. We want to show that unity. We want to march to the beat of the same drum as we carry out the mission of Delta, to serve, to fight for laws that are protective of all human beings, to make sure that there's a voice in the room for people that need health care or any type of assistance. That's where we're moving. We want to be on the front line of advocacy, on the front line of programming, meeting the needs in the community. We are not shying away from doing our job.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, you wear this title, International President. Talk to me about the chapters, that are overseas, out of the country. Tell me a little bit about moving in that space, because that's a huge responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility. There are approximately 1,050 chapters, established chapters within Delta Nation, as I call it. And that includes 14 international chapters. The closest ones to us would be Bermuda, the Bahamas, Jamaica would be the closest chapters to us. And then when we look across the pond, we have 4 chapters in Africa. We have the United Kingdom. We have the Arabian Gulf. We have chapters in Korea and Japan. We have a chapter in Toronto, Canada. So all those chapters too are made up of women that are in the service or live and work in those communities, because so many of them are military or they moved over there for job opportunities. And in those spaces, just like when our founders, Alpha chapter was where we were birthed, but after then it was the Beta chapter. They moved over to make sure that there were women there that served that community and met that need. Just like that, that's what we're doing internationally. Those women are meeting the needs of those communities they are in, because everywhere you go, as the Bible said, the poor you'll have with you always.
Yes.
So there are people that actually need those services. They need to see strong Black women showing up and speaking truth to power and being role models for little girls and little boys in the community.
That's good stuff. So I knew I was going to learn something tonight, and I thought it was going to come from you, and I think that it probably still will. But let me just tell you a nugget that your sister-in-law, Judge Tommy Green, just dropped. I never knew what the W was for. I never knew. President Cheryl Turner. I never knew what the W was for.
That's right. That's right. From the weekly branch of the Stevens family. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Weekly Turner.
So your people are certainly showing up.
Z Green. I'm not going to say what the Z is. Thanks, Tom.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So how are you managing your schedule? Because I know people are pulling on you. I was pulling, to get you here. And in this type of role, man, it is a must that you have a scheduler and everything is intact. Talk to me about managing that.
Right. I'm blessed to have Daphne Higgins, who is in the Madison chapter, to help with that schedule. But I also have a staff that's assigned to me as my assistant, Missy Daniels out of DC. So they both are just helping me not overbook, number one, helping me merge my Outlook calendar and my Google calendar. Because there are times where I defer to that Google and forget to put it on that Outlook, but just managing to the point where, the members want to see their president. They want to hear from their national officers. So to be able to do that for them, but at the same time, have enough of space in that calendar so I can take care of myself. Because Absolutely. It is a lot of running. It is a lot of going back and forth for meetings. And wherever you are, I think the biggest thing I had to get used to, Othor, was I can't just show up at Walmart now with my t-shirt and my jeans on. I have to step it up a bit. So, I had to do a little more shopping because I'm a t-shirt and jeans girl. But other than that, though, I enjoy it. I get my energy from meeting the sorors and being around them. But yeah, we're just trying to manage our time wisely and make sure that we get to sorors. And if we can't do it in the time frame they like, we look to move it out to where we can meet a schedule and agree on that.
Got it. I think you are 100% right. People want to hear from their president. They want to touch their president, right?
And look at John Earl Harvey chiming in.
Hey, I'm learning all of these middle names, right? I'm learning all of these.
John Earl. That's my boy.
Your classmate from Central High School, Brother John, is our executive director over at the 100. So, President, you talked about service and you talked about meeting a need, and there's so much going on, in this world, in this particularly in this country, and Deltas are known for service, right? Deltas are actually really, really, really known for service. How do you continue that fight, right? And really even encourage them to take it a step further, or to, as my mother would say, ramp it up a notch.
Mm-hmm. As things are happening, I think organically we get energized by that we can address those challenges. Right now, we just signed a letter with the Legal Defense Fund to speak to the unlawful act of Texas about redistricting. Yes. Where they are trying to redraw those lines that, it's a mid-decade effort that they are trying to do, which is unlawful, which doesn't occur. Delta is signing on to that. So when we see things like that, we get energized, like, taking on a fight. And that engages and encourages our members to, perk up, listen, something's on their horizon, stay woke. Being woke in our neighborhood is a good thing. So Absolutely. That's what we're looking to do. And that's how we're going to ramp it up and meet the needs wherever they may be.
That's good stuff. What do you guys look for? And guys being, just a general term, what do you look for in new members? What do you look for in these ladies that are coming into your organization?
Yeah. What we're looking for, women of good character, women that have exhibited leadership skills within their communities, women that have showed examples of activism in their communities, that you aren't just a singular person, you serve. And that's what, if there are times when people come in and they don't have those that capacity or those attributes, you quickly find that out, because being in the Delta chapter means, service first thing Saturday morning. You may have to get up early. If you aren't an early person, Delta probably is not for you, because, we do service during the weekends. There may be something that pop up, but we used to say there are women out there that all we need to do is give them a t-shirt. They're already exhibiting everything that Delta is about. All of those things about high scholastics, and just achievement and accomplishment that we fuel through just our support of each other. So those are the women that we're looking for.
That's good stuff. Well, I know there are some women here that you don't have to really give a push to, because they are working. I had an awesome opportunity to moderate a panel discussion for the Madison chapter during World AIDS Day. The Madison chapter did a piece there. And speaking of that, and Dion is on, like I said earlier, they really led that. That was a beautiful event. But speaking of World AIDS Day, you guys really do take on health issues and wanting to empower the African American community to take better care of ourselves, right? Talk to me about some of those initiatives.
Right. We're serious about empowerment of women and girls internationally. We are we were the first Black to hold an NGO status with the United Nations. So that means that we can give voice to issues at the United Nations. And annually, we go to New York to the United Nations, and we meet on the status of women and girls. And that's usually in March timeframe. But to your point, that's what it's about. AIDS is still rampant. So we have to remember to educate as much as we can, and to empower people to learn for themselves and take care of themselves. But on every stage, locally, in this area, even in Madison chapter, Jackson chapter, Clinton chapter, even on the regional level, and then nationally, we're doing those things because that's one of our major focuses.
Now, is there a home base for you guys?
Washington, D.C. is where our national office is.
So you have an office there?
Yes.
Got it. And Madam President, if you had to articulate 3 things that you must get done with your sorority during your reign, what would those 3 things be?
That's a good question. It would first revolve around strengthening our core of sisterhood and strengthening our base. Reclaiming those sorors that are not financial with us now, bringing them back, and enticing them and engaging them in such a way that they want to be back in the fold, because we have a lot of work to do and we need them. We leave for many different reasons, but we just want you to know that we want you back home. So reclaiming our sorors, educating our sorors on all of the issues that we must be a part of. That would be the first thing, our core sisterhood, and strengthening that. And then ensuring that we are knowledgeable and engaged and partnering with like-minded organizations. The NPHC is really strong now. There's a defined council of presidents that meets regularly, so that we can ensure that our 9 organizations combine, join in unity, and march together in all of these issues, because it's not just affecting Deltas, it's affecting all of us, all of our community. So building that coalition, sisterhood, building that coalition, and then just being aware and knowledgeable and forward thinking when it comes to these things that are challenging us. We may have to have our own schools. We're ready to partner with people to build schools and to build hospitals and to re-engage with communities. We had the mobile bus when they shut down and banned books in the 50s. There were buses going through the rural communities to ensure that our children were able to read. People were able, we were teaching those things. So that would be it. Strengthening our sisterhood, strengthening, just our coalition of people and carrying out that work wherever we needed it.
Good deal. Good deal. I know your schedule is busy. I don't want to hold you too long tonight. I am just
Thank
absolutely
you, sir.
grateful for the opportunity to have you here again. This is no small feat. This is really, really, really a big deal. We were happy to feature you in the Mississippi Link newspaper 2 weeks in a row. In fact, we were
Yeah,
very
it
happy
was
to feature
beautiful
you because
coverage.
yeah, it's very important. Daphne did a great job with her first article, and so we thought that we would continue that trend the following week. But congratulations to you. I so look forward to your leadership on this side. I've seen you lead so many times before. I know your work personally, and I am so excited that you're in this space.
I appreciate it. Just a little old girl that grew up on Oakley Street off of Ferris Street. Product of Jackson Public Schools, proud of that. Resident of Jackson, proud of that. And just looking to make things better wherever we go. But we appreciate you for what you do to push the message out for the community and ensure that we are all staying abreast of what we need and staying woke. So thank you so much, Brother Cain, for doing that.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Know that you have an open door here. So whenever there's a message to get out, know that you can do it here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Good night.
All right. Good deal. That's the international president of Delta Sigma Theta, Cheryl Turner. I learned what that W was for. So thank you, ma'am, very much for being here. Judge Green says Cheryl has always worked across sorority and fraternity lines to make our state and nation better for all people. That has made her an international leader. She was not just a leader in Delta, she has worked to ensure justice, equality, and educational opportunity. We pray for her in this historical role. You're absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you, Judge Green, for being here. We appreciate you, ma'am. You know who you are to me and what you mean to me. You are one of my heroes, and I love and respect you dearly. So listen, again, as we prepare to leave tonight, this is a big deal for Jackson, a big deal for the state of Mississippi to have an international president of one of the Divine Nines amongst us. So congratulations to Cheryl Turner. Congratulations to all of the Deltas out there. Thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate your engagement. Thank you for your support. Remember, hit that subscribe button to support us. You can also share with us via our Cash App as well. So thank you for sharing. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.